Check, check, check. Microphone check. Oh man, I was having audio problems there for a minute. All right, checker, wrecker, checker. I don't know, dude. My computer's been tweaking lately. There's been some weird stuff popping off. My computer froze up the other day. I don't know. It's an invasion. Russian spies are coming to get me. I keyed. All right, welcome. I'm Dark Algo. Thanks for joining me on another Morning Watches building session. Today is Thirsty Thursday, March 3rd, 2022, and I just remembered I've got a live stream to open. So, with that being said, we got to get through a lot of stuff. We got to go over some... Johnny, first one here. Good morning. We got to go over some earnings. We've got a bunch of... Don't let me forget to go over the events that are going to rock the market today. I forgot that yesterday. My sad. A couple earnings. Information about additional earnings after the close today. We have some market events going through. Most importantly, unemployment claims. Powell is testifying. ISM Services PMI. And those are going to happen at 10 a.m. Eastern. So from 8:30 to 10, there's going to be lots and lots of volatility. Okay, so be careful with that. Looks like we got Challenger job cuts popping off right now. Let's see what it has to say about that. The market will react to that news. Yes, it will. 55%. Whoop-de-whoop. All right, pandemic. Beginning of the pandemic, 1,500, right? Negative 55, which means that we're actually, that's bearish. Well, maybe not. Hold on. Let's see. February was 176, 143. January was 149, right? We want this number to be increasing, right? We want this down, okay? Fair economy, kind of flat, right? 2018, right? We had a little bit of a hiccup all of 2020. Then we finally started getting our stuff together, but now it looks like we're curving back up. So market is kind of neutral off that news, actually, to be honest with you. Kind of neutral. So neutral to down. We have been shopping like none other this pre-market. Okay. Yeah, you got you, killer. Let's see. All right, so let's get into it. We've got a bunch of stuff to cover. We will cover our futures, right? Yeah, so like I said, my machine's been logged me out of everything, made me log back into stuff. Just not being cool, bro. I was not happy about it. All right, make sure everything's loaded up correctly here. All right, and then finally, let's get some trend spider action going on. All right, in other news, I am going to be moving this weekend. Yes, I am moving this weekend. So I will try to get the weekend watch list done. I will try to get the newsletter out. Yeah, but again, I've got some personal things I'm dealing with, and I'll try to get it taken care of for y'all next week. There'll be should be a new background, new layout behind me. Y'all can't really see it anyway. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, let's get into it, shall we? All right. Where's my magic codes? And this is a pretty decent chart here. Poor Roku. If I would have, see, I didn't even look at the 15-minute 50 yesterday. I'm in this trade from about here. Yes, I'm in this trade from about here. I was busy at the end of the day, and I didn't even check. If I would have saw that, I would have closed out my options contract. I had the 135s from buck. What was it? Buck 11, buck 20, something like that. They hit highs at 275. Right, I should have closed, but I didn't see it. I'm really hoping that Ichi holds and we get a little slingshot squeeze going into tomorrow. Retest 136, possibly point of control 139. That is Roku. All right, earnings. Western Digital cuts their Q3 adjusted EPS view to 130 to 160 from 150 to 180, and versus the consensus at 150. Cuts Q3 revenue view to 4.2 to 4.4 billion from 4.45 to 65. Updated its outlook due to recent chemical contamination issues. Huh, interesting. Well, looking at a squeeze releasing, right? 50, 200 crossover, stack positive moving averages, point of control at 51. Western Digital go long above 52.25. Quick move to 53 and then possibly 54. Contrarian, we reject point of control. And I like that chart, but it just doesn't give me enough juice, enough info. It doesn't give me enough info. This one does, though. All right, earnings flop, drop, pop, lock, and drop it. Held to 21, right? Closed. Slingshot squeeze, ready and fire crossover, 4-hour mid, daily mid, 4-hour top, so 53 first target. Slow grind from 53 to 53.75. Okay, there is a supply zone right there. 53.75 supply zone. Interesting. Those are two very, very different charts, aren't they? Interesting. All right. Regardless, 53.75. Then we get chunky move up to the daily top at 56.50. Contrarian, we reject the 34 and we start falling back down. Below 51.16, we get a move back down to about 40. Let's just call it 50, and then 49.25. Okay. Splunk. Who loves Splunk? SPLK. We trade this all the time. Q4 revenues at 900 million versus 775. Blowout revenue. Quarterly cloud AAR at 1.34. It's up 65%. Guides first quarter revenue at 615 to 635 million versus estimated 609. Guides forward year revenues at 3.25 to 3.3 billion versus 3 billion. That's bullish for Splunk. Splunk is bullish. Look for some slingshot. Things are getting ready to happen. Lots of consolidation here. All right, this is compression. If we can retake the 4-hour mid at let's just call it 118. Daily mid 119, above 119. We get a 4-hour top at 122. So this stock has been manipulated pretty significantly. If you can see that trend line, right? Yo, dude. Click. There we go. Really though, break that trend line. We break the 50, 21. Lots of compression happening here. Okay. This is a mess. That's just a mess. Wait till you get some clean direction on Splunk. Okay. Turtle Beach Corporation here, adjusted EPS at 16-cent loss versus a 23-cent estimate. Right. They guided their revenue lower. They're saying that their 2022 revenue is going to be flat, plus or minus 5%. Okay, so for $25 stock, right? Just imagine, you could probably do a 22.50, 25, 22.50, 20 iron fly, right? For next week-ish, and probably make a pretty good credit off that. This is a very range-bound stock, right? So we could look into that if y'all wanted to. What can I use to do iron flies? Yes, I know. Good morning, Fire TV. Oh, Weeble does iron flies, don't they? Yes, they do. I got this new Elgato Control Center, this Stream Deck thing. It's pretty sick, I have to say so. With the push of a button, I can make things happen. I just got to get it configured to work with Streamlabs. I'll start doing sound effects and in and out and transitions and stuff like that. Okay. All right, snow. Oh, snow melt. Let's just call it that. Whoop-dee, oopsie. For a $270 stock is currently trading at lost $100 on earnings. $90 drop. It's $90 drop. They're saying 20%. I think it's more like 30%, 40%. This is death. Okay. I'm not even going to try to do dead cat bounce. I mean, maybe. This is horrible. Their Q4 estimate, they had an estimated 3-cent gain. They ended up with a 43-cent per share loss. Revenues at $383 million versus $372. They see their Q1 revenue at $383 versus $409. So this is where they that is bad revenue. So 383 versus 409. So that's like almost 30 million less in one quarter. That's 10 million a quarter. $10 million per less. $10 million less per quarter or per month. Jeez. They announced a definitive agreement to acquire Streamlit. I'm not sure what that is. Okay. Okta, OKTA. We trade this all the time as well. Estimated 18-cent loss versus 24-cent loss. The revenues 383 versus 359. Guides for Q1 revenues at 390 versus 374. Guides for year revenues at 1.79 billion versus 1.75. Adjusted EPS loss at $1.24 to $1.27 per share versus estimated 49 cents per share. Now, that's bad earnings, okay? And they're in free fall. Yo, what's up? Am I having data issues? No. What's up with this BS? All right, that's gonna drive me nuts. Having issues with some Pine script. All right, so dead. This is an H-shaped rollover pattern. No squeeze is going to help it because it's negatively stacked. We may fire to the downside. So let's look left and find a supplier demand zone that we can use as a gauge. Okay. This 5200 cross down will be 1320, 1321, 3450, 200. H-shaped pattern, right? Fib extension might help us out, right? We could go from low to high, right to the 618. Up to the 382. This is trend reversal. So I would look to 170, 165, 160. Right? $5 increments on the way down. So look at puts, $5 increments to the downside. Okay. All right. AI, we trade that a lot too. Third quarter EPS at 7-cent loss versus a 27-cent loss. Revenues at 69 million versus 67. Guides forward-year revenues at 252 versus 249. Adjusted operating loss at 90 to 94 million versus 105 million. Those are good earnings, right? They're like, yes, we're losing money, but we're patching it up. We're plugging the dam. So if it can get some stack positive moving averages on this curl around crossover and maintain the 5200, so consolidation, point of control chilling it at 2267. So on the break of 23, there's a move to 2350, 2450. Okay. That's just so weird. My data died on me. I don't get it. There it goes. That's weird. AI. Yeah, like I said, this is just consolidation, right? There is a move, weekly cloud bottom to the weekly cloud bottom top, right? I know it's hard to say. 22 to 24. So daily 4-hour bottom, or the 4-hour mid, move the daily mid at 2361. 4-hour top that runs 23 to 24. Above 2450, pretty easy move to 26, retest the 50. Contrarian, we break 22, we back test 21, 20, 1950. Okay, big range candle right there. That's what it just said. It said we're going to chill in that range for the next little while. And that's an AI. All right, in healthcare, here we go. Saba. Warren late Wednesday that it may face a clinical hold on its trials for its drug after the FDA imposed them this year on two competitors that are also working on Alzheimer's candidates. Yes, this is a volatile, wishy-washy stock with an H-shaped pattern that's currently chilling. What did I do there? What did I do there? It's like my data feed is slow for some reason. Huh, interesting. All right, big old H-shaped pattern, negatively stacked moving averages. Squeeze should fire off to the downside. I mean, y'all can see it here. Ugh, death by. Am I too far out? Am I not loading it quickly enough? I don't know. There's an issue. Hold on. I got to fix this issue. Dang, that's going to bother me. Now I have to go over. I guess we'll use this one. It's just not showing up anywhere. Weird. All right. So this is so H-shaped recovery. I would say possible. Look to take out the lows. Right, there's demand zone at 36.50 down to 33.45. Sorry, my dog was making weird noises there for a minute. All right, we got a demand zone here. Ciao, son. Ciao. Yeah, ciao. All right, little demand zone there. That would be my target, right? Negatively stacked moving averages, below the EG, below VWAP, below point of control, zero volume, negative earnings, bad news. Okay, or just bad news. AstraZeneca, AZN, said that its rare disease group has closed its exclusive global deal and license agreement with another company to commercialize its drug, an investigational antibody in phase 1B aimed at treating cardiomyopathy. Interesting. It's a really interesting move. Regardless, if it fills the 34 EMA for our mid, for our bottom at 59, daily mid at 59, right? Below that, we got weekly mid mag at 58.52. We did get a 5200 cross, which is bullish, double green. This is interesting. I'm not sure where this is coming from. Possible dead cat bounce. We could go for our mid, for our top. So there is a move if we hold the low. Okay. We hold 60.50. There's a move back up to 61.50, and then let's just call it 62. Look for this. There's a trend line overhead resistance here that we're gonna have to pay attention to right here. Right, that's your target, AstraZeneca. And financials, nothing really interesting that we trade. Here we go. Industrial energies. Honeywell, y'all know Honeywell, right? Said it is reaffirming its Q1 revenue and forward-looking 22 guidance, upgrades long-term financial framework, including organic growth, margin expansion, and long-term segment targets, increasing capital deployment commitments. It's saying we're going to start spending some money. Okay, bull flag breakout. Look for we are in a supply zone that runs 188.25 to about 192.83. Above that, we get a nice juicy move to about 196.50. Ultimate target about 200. Okay, any pullbacks, look for this to go long, especially if we can get kind of some squeezes releasing here on the lower end. I think that should help boost it. Contrarian, we reject, right? We don't get out of this supply zone. Reject 190, back test 188, 185, 183.05 is support below that. One little chance at 181, and then there's a drop to 170, 176.5, right? All of that dividend day dropped off at that. We've got some stack moving averages. This looks pretty decent. So keep an eye on Honeywell. Oh geez, in consumer news, we have lots of consumer news, but most importantly, my dog is making the weirdest noises. It's like he's blowing bubbles. It's really interesting. MGM, nice move last couple days, right? Up and back and up, getting those stack positive moving averages, getting a little bit of balance, a little slingshot squeeze reaction happening here. We can break some overhead resistance, then we can look at taking, putting some risk on. I'd be willing to put a little bit of risk on off of this trendline break right here that we just had, right? We're getting into a trading zone that runs basically 44.50 to 46, right? They announced a $2 billion stock buyback plan, so there's gonna be some money flowing into this. Okay, all right. ChargePoint, one of my favorite stocks. Q4 EPS at 23-cent loss versus 15-cent loss. Revenues 80 million versus 76. Guides Q1 revenues at 72 to 77 million versus the estimated 81. Revenues of 450 to 500 million versus 380. Okay, that's like, yeah, we missed, but we're going to be getting a lot of money coming in the next quarter. Okay, I like this stock. I don't like how choppy it is right now. I don't see, let's check it out here. If you wanted to play it safe, you could play the 1550 to 1675 move, right? That would be out of the daily, or out of the 4-hour top daily up to 17 psychological level. In these penny stocks, which is what I call them, psychological levels, whole numbers are very, very important. You know, 16, 17, and then look at 50-cent increments, right? So 17.50 to 20, like it's a $2.50 increment. I don't know what the ATR on it is, but I would assume it's probably less than $1 or $2 maybe. But this stock used to do really, really well. They do, however, they do have a they've kind of cornered the market on their charging stations. They have more active charging stations than than its nearest competitor, right? They've got the most, right? So triple bottom, weird little megaphone-ish pattern. Okay, that was ChargePoint. Big Lots. By the way, how did you like the weekly watch list? All of them have been making good moves. Big Lots with earnings. All right. EPS at 175 versus 189. Revenues up 100 million. Or, yeah, 100 million. Declined to last year was driven by comp sales decreases at 2.3%. Q4 net results negatively impacted around 30 cents a share due to adverse shrink results. This is a run up, right? This is just a run up right here. Okay, they ran it up and then they dropped it. So just think about Big Lots being dubstep, right? What happens here? This could be that sword killer, right? I don't know what they call it. Trend slayer. If you can imagine a sword and a trend and it coming up and it reversing the trend. Doesn't have really any support down to the daily top at 34. Okay. I wouldn't play big lots. I'd just find something else to put our money into, like Planet Fitness or MGM possibly. All right, key events today. We have some virtual conferences, earnings after the close. I'm interested in Marvell, which is MRVL. Right, Marvell, Costco. Those are the two earnings, and broad or AVGO. Those are the three earnings plays I'm interested in today. Right, it should be very, very fun next week for those three stocks. That's it for earnings before the open. Big Lots, BJ, Kroger had earnings. Let's check out Kroger. Consumer staple there. Right, I feel you, Kroger. They haven't released them yet, so that'll be this morning. Watch for some volatility in Kroger. All right, earnings, or we have some economic calendar events today. Okay, unemployment claims are going to be coming out at 8:30 Eastern. Powell is at 10. ISM Services PMI is at 10 as well. Factory orders month over month. 10:30 Natty Gas Storage, and then at 6 p.m. tonight, Williams is speaking. Okay, so Mark, just be aware of those. That Powell one especially. Okay, we're just super choppy right now. All right, non-farm productivity for Q4 also. So unemployment claims, non-farm, and PMI. So following the stealth rally most of the day on Wednesday for the U.S. averages, S&P futures are slipping down below the 4380 level off of yesterday's highs around 4400. Trading in one of the narrowest ranges of this year overnight with highs of 4392, lows of 4369 ahead of a busy day of economic data and day two of testimony of Powell. He's going to be on the Hill today talking about the economy and monetary policy. All major U.S. indexes gained 1.5%, over 1.5% yesterday, paced by gains in the Russell. I knew the Russell was going to make some moves, okay? As financials surged amid a spike in yields. The U.S. dollar and crude, which is now above 113 a barrel, were up while gold and Bitcoin slipped, and the 10-year Treasury yield rises over 15 BPS to highs of 1.88. Powell signaled the central bank would likely raise interest rates at the March meeting less than some investors had feared, as his comments helped calm investors amid anxiety over Russia's invasion of the Ukraine. Among yesterday's top gainers, transports, banks, and semiconductor chips helped pace the gains along with materials and energy. After dipping below 1.7% on Tuesday, the 10-year Treasury yield is back up to the 1.90% area. In Asian markets, Nikkei Index Bay rose 0.7%. Shanghai slipped a few points. Hang Seng climbed up a little bit, and DAX is down. FTSE falls, and the bull-bear spread in the American Association of Individual Investors weekly survey was -11 versus -33 or -30 last week. As bullish sentiment rises 30% from 23, neutrals rise to 28.2, and bearish sentiment declines. Don't let me forget to get that Public Enemy image that says "Don't believe the hype." That's what we're gonna go with. All right, checking out our futures. I'm gonna go quickly through these. I want to get into. Oh, hey, I wanted to look at it. What was it that I wanted to look at an Ironfly on? Something was super range bound. What was it? Was it Splunk? No. OKTA? No. Turtle? There was something I was like, hey, let's look at an Ironfly for that. I don't remember what it was. Western Digital? $50, $52.50. 50.48. Was that what it was? Can't remember what it was. There was something that was super range bound. Was it Sava? No, they're too volatile for that. It might have been Western Digital. $50, $52.50, no. $52.50, no, I can't remember what it was. Do I remember? That's gonna bother me. Maybe it was AI. Regardless, next I'll remember it. So Ironfly. Do y'all understand what an Ironfly is? If you, I'm just gonna show you real quick. Okay. Let's look. Let's just say it was WDC, right? I thought there was an easy way for me to get rid of that. Guess not. So Western Digital, right? That's Walker Donut, BBC. So you grab a daily chart. See how it's just kind of trades in this little range, right? So 55.60, 55.50 possibly. So anyway, you would go to options. I would want to look at Ironfly for next week. And I think I have to do, let's do a $5 spread. Right, so we could do, what we would do is we would do so 42, 47, 40, so they're saying 47, 48, that might be a good one. Let me show you how this works. The Ironfly is one of my new favorite things. How come I can't? Oh. Yes, the Ironfly. This is the one of my favorite things. So what it's saying is you're saying that you believe that Western Digital will close next. Oh, I've got that set for today. Sorry, let me get a different strike here. This is a good one right here. You get a good credit. Let's do this one. All right, so with this Ironfly, you're saying that you believe the price is going to stay between 45 and 55 by March 11th. If price closes at $50, you get the full credit issued when you open the trade. Okay, so what they're saying is they're going to give you, I sell Ironflies. Okay, so what I do is I sell a 50 call and put, and then I buy a 45, and then I buy a 55, $5 on either side as protection so it doesn't go against me. They're going to give me a $3 credit, so they're going to give me $300, right? And my max risk is $500. So my max loss would be $200 on this trade, and as long as price stays within, 45 right? So if it goes below, what are they saying here? Below 47, I start losing money. Above 47, I start getting profit. The goal would be to pin it right at 50. I would get my max profit of, $300. I love iron flies. These are so much fun. Okay. All right. I hope that makes it. I know it doesn't make sense, but this is just one of those income. You're like, hey, this is a range bound stock. We're in a range bound market, right? Let me make some money off of this. All right. They're going to give you a credit. So they'll give you $300 and then you can decide to buy it back, right? So they give you 300 and you buy it back for, 100, you get to keep 200 bucks. Okay. We have to start looking at some advanced options strategies. We have to deal with the market. Okay. And speaking of the market, let's look, shall we? Let's take a look at our market. You're like, I can't see crap. Well, you're right, you can't, because I haven't done this yet. All right, the purple line is the deadline, right? This purple line is March 16th, 2022, FOMC. What is this forming here? I would say it was a bull flag, but we've had some wiki candles. There's no consistency, right? Can't use trend line support, so that's out the window. It's hovering right at this snow line, which is massive resistance, 43.72. All right, let me get zoomed in on this because we did something yesterday. Now it's hard to see, but this red line right here is the 21 EMA. We almost tested it. We hit that 618 50% retracement level that I told you was going to be super important. We couldn't break above 4400-esque. Okay, so today we will be testing the 21 EMA on the daily. If we close above it, that's bullish. If we reject it, another downturn. So depending on how today works, we have an opportunity to go from the 50% retracement to the 618 or the 382 from, right, from this low to this high. We pulled back all the way back, made a new low, right? So this 200, let's just call it 4440 area, give me 10 or 15 points on either side. The 200's chilling at like 4460. The 21 is at 4400. So if we rally up above 4400, quick move to 4440 to 4450, make a decision if we're going to get back above this 200-day SMA. We've done it once, but immediately reversed and sold off. The last time we got above it, we had a big move up, back tested it for support, tried to make a breakout of 2150, couldn't do any of that, and we sold off. Longer term perspective, I told you we would find a chop zone, and that's what we're doing. We could very easily chop back and forth in this zone up into March 16th. However, we would have to get above the 21 and then possibly chop here. Meanwhile, the 50 is falling, the 200 is rising. They will intersect at probably close to March 16th. Okay, so bulls want a break above 4400 and to trade between 4400 and 4500, right? Nice little range there. Excuse me, 4400 and yeah, 4400, 4480-esque, right? Bulls want to trade up in here. Bears want us to reject this 21. They're going to sell this. They're going to sell the top here, and we look for a larger downside move. We have already done one thrust, two thrust. If you trade futures with like rows, you're looking at a 3 thrust play, which would put us back down to, come on, We break the fire line and we move back down to this snow line. Okay, that's what bears want. Bulls want to get back above this 200, right? We want the 50 to bounce, and we want to go and make a new all-time high. I'm not feeling that, to be honest with you. So we do have a trend line here. We could whip up and retest this trend line. So the next 2 days should be pretty important. We're going to go up and we're going to make some decisions in this area. Breaking it down to the 4-hour. All right, on the 4-hour, we had a 2150 cross at the beginning of this week, right? We're hugging that snow line as support. We've got immediate overhead resistance at 4,400. So we're compressing, we are squeezing, we're consolidating, whatever you want to call it. We're flagging. We're looking for that pop retest up here. If we reject here, we've got a little bit more consolidation that we can have happen. Usually we don't break it through on the first attempt. Right, we had an attempt back here that didn't work, right? Failed attempt at the 50, failed attempt at the 21, right? Break through the 21, break through the 50, broke through the 50. We're holding it, right? So, like I said, we're starting to recover a little bit. There is this inverse head and shoulders thing happening here, right? A little longer term one. The neckline is basically, let's just call it the snow line, right? May have gone a little bit deeper on it, but this is what happens when we start getting some moving averages stack positive again, right? 2150, 200 coming right off the snow line. 4400 is going to be very, very interesting today, okay? If we can start getting some closes above 4400, we got to move from 4400 to 4440, 4450. To the upside, downside, I mean, I think we're going to be bullish today. Contrarian, if we break this snow line, immediately back test the 50% retracement, 200. Below that, woo-wee, it gets super ugly. Okay. I'm trying not to be one way or the other, but I'm kind of bullish today, to be honest with you. But pre-market futures need to slow down. We're at the top of some major Keltner channels on some lower time frames. We just broke through the top of the 15-minute Kelt, so the next cycle would be a down cycle back down to 43.77. All right, let's check out the Nasdaq. Nasdaqer. I don't know what that purple line is for, but it needs to be goodbye. See ya. Like we're stuffing this trend line, right? This previous support resistance trend line right here. The 21 day, we're stuffing it. We're getting stuffed. I would like to see this move take place because then on FOMC, right, we get a rip. Inverted head and shoulders. Our 50 crossed down below the 200 on the daily. It did happen on the first. So we're day 2 of that crossing down. It's not going to just be an easy rip back up. It's going to take a little bit of time to reverse. For example, when the 21 crossed here, right, it took a full week before it apexed and then another week for it to cross back up. So the 50 moves a little bit slower. We need this cross up for us to get the inverted head and shoulders that we're looking to play. All right. We have a tree line, which is at 14,450. We're retesting the 21 on the daily. Okay. If we reject this, then we get another downside move, another three thrust move down. Let's bring it down to the 4-hour. Like we're really trying to get back up in here, right? This overhead resistance is real. It's a real thing, okay? 2150 cross up. If we can get through that, this is our magnet. So we got a magnet at 14,450. 14450. Previous lows 200 on the 4-hour. Bringing it down to the 30, right? It's trying. It really is. It's trying to do a job, right? Higher lows. Haven't made a higher high, so this is compression. There's a zone that runs from here to here. We're in the middle of that zone. There we go. Took forever to load, didn't it? 2150, 200. This is bullish, right? If we can get over this overhead resistance, this little supply zone. Yeah, so there is a supply zone right there. See this sucker? Right chair, child. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty decent. So, again, we're trying to make a move. Why don't I have... You know, I thought I'd be slick and put up my trade station chart, but I just don't think it's going to make sense. I don't know. I've got to do some things with some brokers. Okay. Johnny retracted a message. Always makes me a little worried when he retracts those messages. I don't know if he's talking smack or not, right? All right, check out the Dow, the Dilly Dally Daily Dow. Again, looking at that inverted head and shoulders right off of this fire line. We're going to retest the 21 at 34,268. Wait, we're looking for this 50 to bounce off the 200 instead of cross down. That should pull price action up with it. We're looking for that move up to the 200 at 35,000 and then possible pulling back into FOMC. And then decision if we rip or we make the third leg down. And then, I don't know if this is 1, 2, 3 down because it's not really in line with it, but it could be 1, 2, 3 down, or this could be 1, 2, 3 down. Okay. Levels. Let's check out the 4-hour. All right, so we rallied up, rejected the 50, 21 held us up for support, big pop, drop, pop, drop, pop. So triple top almost, right? Looks like there's a zone, there's a wonky donkey supply zone, and there's that little peasy. This is what's causing our grief right now. That is cars on our grief, okay? So we would look to break some overhead resistance, pop up to approximately 34,250, or make that move up to 34,500. Okay, looking at the Dow, pretty bullish today. 2150 crossover, a little bit of momentum can carry us a long ways with the Dow. 30-minute momentum is showing us that 1, 2. We got to, we're really trying to break some of these little micro supply zones. Looks like we had some overhead resistance, right? It's not even valid. It would have to be this one. All right, so we did break. We'll look to retest previous highs at 34065. I don't even want to try to look at support. Support's this fire line. All right. And then next up is the red-headed Russell that's been doing a great job of keeping the market going. I have to be honest with you. The Russell has done a good job. The Russell is also forming an inverse head and shoulders. It really is. Up and back and up. So when we get to this snow line, or this 50% retracer, this previous low, when we get to this 2 point, right? 1, 2, 3 reversal, big old Wu-Tang reversal, inverted head and shoulders, right? Lots of stuff happening with the Russell, small caps, right? Lots of things cracking off with them. We overtook the 21. We're going to retest the 50, or the 50 at 2090. Looking for 2100 magnet, 2100, 2110, 2120. Yeah, this box right here is going to be our magnet. Okay, that's what we're looking to retake. If we overtake the high of the 2, which is this one here, right? If we overtake this high, right? We would go snow line to snow line. So 2120 to 2160 or 382 retracement to 50% retracement, right? Solid line to solid line. I think this is just, oh, I just put that line there as previous low. Okay. So the Russell's pretty easy to read. Find some stocks that are in the Russell and let it make a move. Let's go, Broku. Yeah, I'm bullish on the Russell. So up to 2100, 2190. Little consolidation to the apex, and then that move back down, right? To about, we could even go as low as here for a bigger move off FOMC. The Russell's, I feel like this is a pretty easy chart to read off the daily. Looking at it on the 4-hour. We got a 21-200 crossover, 50, right? The 50 is going to cross over the 200, right? We've got skyline that's causing resistance, so skyline to skyline, from skyline to snow line. Okay, pretty easy to read. This tree line right here at 20, this is an actual tree line at 2040 is your support. So it's a 21 day. I mean, and then breaking it down to the 30 minute. I wish I knew the top 5 holdings of the Russell. It wasn't AMC. I know AMC used to be one of the top 5. I just closed my Transpider chart. Hold on. ETF DB. Will that show me the Russell? Oh, BJ's AMC. Should we look at IWM? Maybe. Small cap growth equities, holdings. OVV, AMC, THC, SYNA, BJ, T-Tech, Macy's, right? I don't even know what OVV is, but OVV, they put a lot of money in the AMC. All right, where am I at? Here, 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 here. All right, Russell on the 30, bullish. Okay, moving on. Looking at gold on the daily, right? It's just doing its job. I don't know why I've got this extra line here. Oh, crap. That has to stay there. All right, so pop and pull back, pop and pull back, pop and pull back. We're slowly melting our way up on the Russell. All right. Rally and dip, rally and dip. This has got to go over here. I don't know why this is not. So rally and dip. This is what the power of the 21. This is the power of the 50 crossover on the 200. So as we get close to the next 50 200 crossover, look to go long. Those are big moves off of that. All right, regardless, we're riding the 21. Kind of a wedge breakout, right? The 21, continue to move up. Gold is goldish. There's gold in them there hills. All right, moving on to crude is just phenomenal. Might get a little pullback. All right, we may have peaked 116. Where's Laz? When dude Laz was calling out crude back at 80. Right, the man with the plan. So we're looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth leg move. All right, I think we just completed an Elliott wave. This could be the 1, 2, 3, 5. So now we look for a corrective, right? Which would be, oh, there's that 3 drives. I should put that on our chart. Oh, snap. Where's the corrective wave? It's okay. So the corrective wave would be A1, A, B, C. All right, and then we start at 1, 2, 3. I know it looks like I swear there's one of these that measures these moves out. I gotta find it because it'll measure out the 382, 618, 127 move. Okay. Possible setup on crude. ZB gapped up, right? So we've got previous low 618 retracement rejection back down to the 382. Then we retest to 50 and then up to the 618 again, and then back up to this fire line, I believe it is. I don't even know if that's, did I draw that or has it been built into it? All right, looks like it's been built into it. Is that a tree line? Yeah, that's something I wrote on there. Oh, those are levels I put on there for some reason. Interesting. Interesting. All right, so gap up. We didn't quite fill the gap. Skyline bounced up to 382. Look for me back up to the 50 and possibly 158. We need this to fall down for the ES to rally. So if you want to check out an equity equivalent, look at TLT. Okay, and then the yen. The yen should continue to fall off the cliff, which is what we like. See what happens when you get a 2150 rejection. When you get below that 50, it's below that 200. It's very hard to get back up above it with any conviction. Okay. All right. And then that's it. So, all right, that's the futures. You know what? I need a real quick break for just a second. Johnny likes THC himself. I know you do. So ES. Oh, we've got news coming out. Unemployment claims will be out shortly. Let's do this. Let's look. Let's keep it on a 2-minute and see how the market reacts to the news. Usually there's a pre-anticipatory pop and then maybe some locking and dropping. Yes, in 2-minute we got 5,200 crossing over everywhere, all across the board. I don't know what's going on with the Russell and why it's being a pain, but remember 4,400 is our target. Okay, I'll be right back. A quick break. And then we will get into the flow index, and I'll let this economic news come out and settle. It hits in 1 minute. I will be back in 5. Okay. I'm so sorry. Can anybody read lips? Dang it. All right, I'll run through this real quick. BA. I always forget to do that. My bad. All right, so like I said, BA is coming into a wedge, right? The flow index is making lower lows and lower highs, right? If we break trendline support, I think into tomorrow, I think we chop into tomorrow, and then we either drop back down to 195 and 190, right? We're at a previous demand zone right now, right? You still can't hear me? Check, check, check. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. All right, thanks. Okay. Like I said, so I think we just consolidate up to about this level here, and then if we get any news, so Boeing needs news to really help drive it. Okay. Watch for this trend line to fail and we flush back down to 194, or we just consolidate until we get out, like, because there's a supply zone right here. There's a trading zone that runs 199.50 to 204, and then there's also one that runs 197 down to about 192. So compression, consolidation, their divergences have played out on it, so I'm not super bullish on it. It's going to just chop. SPY, we've got bearish divergence. We've got a bunch of block trades down here that are going to act as a magnet. We're coming to the top of a trading zone, 441.30 ISK, right? If we get above that, then we have to trade up to 448, right? But with the flow index selling, they're selling out of this rally up. Watch the apex and then look for the move back down to the downside. Johnny, I think your SPY puts are going to be fine. Remember what I told you earlier about the futures, right? We very rarely bust through it the first time, so this may just be a rally up into the open and then some pulling back, right? Contrarian, we do get through some of those key levels and we just continue to rip. I know I just contradicted myself there, but I mean, that's a pretty big move up pre-market. Okay. All right. Back to FlowTrade. So the QQQ is trading with price right now. We're coming up to the top of a previous demand zone. If we break out above that, we gotta trade it up to 351. Above that, we do the 351 to 356 move. But I think we reject. I think we're kind of close to the top here. That's a lot of days. Let's look at the last 3 days. All right, here's the blocks in the last 2 days. So basically yesterday, bottom to top, top to bottom. Okay, 342.50 is pretty much, or 343 is the mean basically. So we move back down to 343. If we break down below that, we got a final look at 341.50. Below that, we come and back test this downward trend line here. You see this one, right? It's a very real trend line, right? We got support at 339, and then we trade down to 334, right? So one move down, two move down. Okay. Oh, Chandler's going to be in the day trade room. Maybe I'll go. All right, I'm going to hang out in this simpler. Oh, I can't. It's so irritating. Which reminds me, I got to hurry up. I got to stream this morning. right, check out Tesla real quick. You want to look at stocks? Okay. And then you want to look at FCX. No, I didn't get those. They didn't come through. I don't know why. You see that, Johnny? Yeah, it didn't come through. So I don't know why I'm not getting those messages. FCX. All right, let's do that. All right, Tesla real quick, just because I know everybody's super interested in Tesla. All right. Test, rejection, test, rejection, test, rejection. I mean, it's kind of falling channel-esque. Flow index are trading with price. Dark pool 879.89. I mean, we've got to. This is either going to reverse and pull back. Tesla is currently kind of making a cup and handle. 880.50 is the resistance, or 880.52. I think we might get, well, depending on how the ES does, right? So I'm going to look at the Tesla 850. Tesla 840 puts. And I'm going to look at the Tesla 900 calls. 840 puts, 900 calls on Tesla. The flow index is just trading with price. This consolidation zone here, it could very easily continue to pull back. I don't think Tesla's going to, yeah. But if it breaks through, right, if it breaks through this and back tests, right, 880, it's going to launch at 8 to 900, 900 to 925, possibly. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, there could be 1, 2, 2, 3. No. So there's a Elliott wave in here somewhere. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, or 5, 0, 1. Nope. I don't know. I'll have to look at that a little bit more. Tesla is being definitely weird. It's not trading like it normally does. All right, CX, whichever that is, I think it's Chevron, right? This is definitely oil sympathy play. It's making, the flow index is making higher lows, higher high, trading with price, regular blocks at, oh, you said CF. Is this Cleveland? I don't know what this is. Dark pool at 84.69, 82.35. Flow index separation, so it should pull price back up with it. So 84.70 to 88.83. If we reject this, we could gap fill back down to 82.42. But I like the separation in the flow index, right? I think it can continue to pull price action up with it. All right, Tesla, CF, Freeport-McMoRan, one of my favorite ones. I hope y'all got. I turned y'all onto this last week, right? White line at 48.25, regular block trade clusters, and then we got support at 47.90. The gap did get filled. All right, the flow index is trading with price right now. You could trade the zone that goes 48 to 49.50. If it breaks, we've got support at 47.91. Below that, you got to look at your trend line, which is pretty decent, right? So if we break, we can continue to fall back down to 46.75. But Freeport-McMoRan is a copper play, and metals are really popular right now. Come on, Roku, do your ding, ding, do your thing, do your thing. All right, socks. All right. Man, the flow index could bounce here. If it does, there's no block trades that have come in on this, which is interesting. So this is pure price action. I'm looking for maybe an inverted head and shoulders to form a little bit. So we might get a little bit of a pullback to 465 and then bounce. I don't know what's causing it to hit resistance here. This is what I fear happens all the time. It breaks through resistance and it back tests it for support, and it fails and it gaps down. So we ran into it once, ran into it twice. So we made a higher low, failed to make a higher high. All right, flow index broke out of that. I would say supports at 469.13. Below that, there's a zone back down to 462.50. Look for that as a pop up overhead, right? We would go 475 to 482. All right, moving on. Serenity, I went over Honeywell in the morning briefing. I don't know if you were here for that, but they had earnings. Honeywell said it's reaffirming its Q1 and forward-looking 2022 guidance upgrades, long-term financial framework, including organic growth, margin expansion, and long-term segment margin targets, increase in capital deployment commitments. I showed that it's looking decent, right? It's at the top of a supply zone right now, so above 192.25, right? So yeah, above 192 for a move to 197, 198. Okay. On pullbacks, look for some support at 188.50 for possible move back up. The daily mid is at 189. So yeah, 189 support. If we can get through that, it's got to fight to get through the weekly bottom, 4-hour bottom. But if we can get above 190, 192, there's an easy move to 197. Okay. I'll look at that. Well, the flow index is bearishly diverged too. Eeks. All right, so FCX, CF, Tesla, Honeywell, oh, and XOM, XOM. All right, Honeywell. This is bearishly diverged. The divergence occurred here where it's at right now. So it looks like it may have filled some of it out, right? But then it's going to continue to pull price down with it. Got a regular block 186.44, maybe a little flush to 185.60. And that could cause the flow index to curl back around and for a move back up. With that information that they came out, right? They came out and said, hey, we're looking to do some things that may reverse the flow index, okay? We're at a dark pool now. 185.60 is regular block trade support. What a rip. Whoa. We broke 4,400. So pre-market gap up equates to gap fade at the open. QQQ, NVIDIA. Looks like NVIDIA's pushing a lot of that. Let's see if I can find anything else that's making it move. Tesla has a little bit to do with that. Sorry, I'm pulling up Exxon on my chart right now. Exxon Mobil. Woo, big dump. All right, pre-market dumper on Exxon Mobil. Sorry, I'm looking at Honeywell on my other charts. Oh yeah, you're gonna like that. If you're bullish on, are you bullish on Honeywell? Who is that? Serenity. Yeah, it just launched off of 186.33. Right, 186.44. Yeah, it launched right off of that dark pool level just now. It went 186 to 190. It's bullish. Are you Are you long on it? Hopefully. But with the flow index, like I said, there's that opportunity for the flow index to immediately reverse like it did here, right? So, dude, Honeywell's just ripping. NVIDIA's ripping. QQQ's ripping. XOM is dying. It's tanking right now. Good job, Serenity. All right, Exxon Mobil, while it was bullish going into pre-market, it's currently down 81 to, it dropped $2. So it's currently trading down here at 79.30. Right? So it ate up all of these trades. We got a white line, 79, 78.40 is where I would look for it to stop. Right? It's interesting. Big drop on that. But it does gap and crap, right? Gap, right? Rally, pullback, up, gapped up, pulled back, gapped up, pulled back, rallied up, pulled back. 78.40 is one level. We've got a 4-hour mid at 79.12 that it's hitting right now. So it's hitting this dark pool level right now. So if it absorbs that, then it will gap fill back to 78.40 is where I'm looking for XOM to hit. Okay. Did I get everybody? I think I did. I think I got everyone. Yeah, that's interesting. So I don't know if it needed to fill these gaps or not. Let's look at our futures real quick one more time. Let's look at them on a daily perspective, just so that we can once again reiterate what we're doing. Okay. So we rallied to the 21. We broke the 4,400 level, right? Like I said, we could possibly move to 4,450, right? And then we have to address the 200 SMA and what's going to happen there. Okay. Keep an eye on the prize. Remember that 3 drive play. It's this one. 3 drive patterns. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This looks to be a measured play. Something like that. So rally to the 21, do we reject and pull back? Rally to the 21, do we reject and pull back? On the 2 minute, right? Lower time frames, it's looking really bullish. Right? Big old gap, pre-market gap, right? 44.40s. What's happening at the open? Profit taking. Okay. Right? 14 upper, we've got targets. We knew that we were going to have a pretty decent rip today. So this is gold. Gold broke down. Crude dipped down. It's starting to recover. Larger move to the downside. 103 would be the downside target, but it could easily just bounce here and move back up. Bonds should be selling off, right? This is a yen. Whew. An ES. Okay. All right. I got to run. Thanks for joining me. Darkwell Algo. I'll see you all tomorrow. I got to get back on the mic now with another group and have a good one. Hopefully I'm able to trade today instead of just doing analysis all day. QQQ is coming up to the top of the 4-hour Keltner channel top, which is at 351. Expect resistance. Honeywell, daily mid, 188.87. However, it's got a very, very bullish. Apple, super trend bullish. Nvidia has got probably the most room. Nvidia, 245 incoming. Roku, 136 is my next target on Roku. Okay, I'm out. Have a great day. Stay safe, stay green, and most of all, hit the like button, please. Click the like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and I will see you all in the Discords.